You know we love spooky things. This is why we fell in love with Michigan-based Lynn B Designs. When I popped the pumpkin spice all the things wax melt into my burner, my home was filled with the delicious buttery scent. Plus, there's the wide variety of gorgeous nail polishes with themes like Hocus Pocus and Pleasant Peninsula. All products are vegan and cruelty-free, and you can find monthly sales on Facebook and Instagram at Lynn B Designs. Head to lynbdesigns.store today. Again, that's LYNB designs.store.
We love them. We love you. It's great nail polish. It's the best I've ever used. Thanks.
Huron Valley, the 1970s. 4 rooms, 4 stories, 1 hotel. Neighborhood Theater Group presents The Hotel Delgado, an anthology of short plays by A.M. Dean, Megan Murphy, Greg Pizzino, and Aaron C. Wade, March 7th through 9th and 14th through 16th at the Back Office Studio in downtown Ypsilanti. For tickets and information, visit ntgypsy.org. That's ntgypsi.org.
Michiganders can be a superstitious bunch. We find all sorts of reasons to explain the world around us, sometimes pulling from science, sometimes tradition, and sometimes from our imaginations. What happens when we can't readily explain our experiences? And what happens when a ghost story gets out of hand? Do these legends stem entirely from fantasy? Or are people seeing things no one can truly explain? I'm Krista K. Coburn.
And I'm Kay Gray. Welcome to Haunted Mitten. And welcome to part 2 of our season finale of season 6.
Woo! My God, I can't believe it's been 6 years. That's half a decade. Whoa!
Yeah! Oh my gosh, since 2019, baby!
Yeah. I'm still struggling with the fact that we're in the 2020s.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm fully still struggling with the fact that we're not in 2020.
Yeah, right?
What happened?
I'm having a hard time moving past that.
Yeah.
I think everyone is. I don't think that's
very much.
That's just an us thing. Maybe children, young children who, barely remember 2020.
Yeah.
Maybe they're fine.
I feel like there probably are.
Yeah.
Because they don't know. They didn't know life beforehand.
No. Yeah, like my nephew started kindergarten, I think, in 2020. So
wild.
Yeah, so the beginning of his schooling was pandemic schooling.
Yeah.
So that was just like how school was.
Yeah. That's just how school works.
Yeah.
Didn't you know?
He's adjusted. He's fine.
Yeah, no, he's good.
But yeah. I can't imagine that that's your normal. That's your base.
Yeah, that's where you're starting from.
During a shutdown.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back. If you have no idea what we're talking about the part 2 of the Kinross incident. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's crazy that you clicked on a part 2 of something in a podcast. You should probably go back and listen to part 1.
If you missed that one coming out, by the way, there's a part 1.
It's a part 1. I promise I didn't mislabel this. This really is part 2.
Yep. Of the international incident, the Kinross incident.
Dun, dun, dun. Quick recap on the evening of November 23rd, 1953. A literal UFO, unidentified flying objects, over Lake Superior, warranted the Calumet Air Force Station to send out an F-89 Scorpion piloted by Felix Moncla Jr. with Robert Elwes and his radar operator to see what the hell was going on. They chased this thing, ? For 30 minutes at speeds of 500 miles per hour and around 8,000 feet or so. The radar operators back at the Air Force Base saw the 2 blips on their radar merge into one and then disappear.
Which is wild.
Which is really crazy.
Yeah, it's not particularly normal,
Yeah.
as we've discussed and
We
as we will
talked about,
continue discussing.
yeah. We talked about who these folks were. We talked about the official report in which the U.S. Air Force threw Canada completely under the bus. And Canada went, no, that's not okay.
Yep.
And you know, in general, the U.S. government just being really shifty about things,
Yep.
as usual.
And not being at all suspicious. Very suspicious.
What?
Even if they have nothing
Yeah.
to hide, nothing to cover up, they're acting awfully suspicious, right?
Yeah, no, they still handled it all completely wrong.
Yep.
We talked about F-89 Scorpions and how the entire F-80 series seemed to be just a pile of trash. Just one giant pile of trash. And how radar technology was not super great, but good enough. And that's what we got. So let's continue on with part 2 and the other crash.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. Coincidentally, on the same day as the incident, an F-89 piloted by Captain Glenn E. Collins and Lieutenant John Schmidt crashed into the marshes of Lake Wingra in Wisconsin, resulting in the deaths of both men. Schmidt was a World War II veteran who served in the Pacific region and hailed from Del Rio, Texas. At the time of his death, he was married and had a 2-year-old son along with a pregnant wife. He was also a neighbor and friend of Moncla, living just a few yards behind the Moncla's apartment in Madison.
Interesting.
And their lives mirrored also in the From Texas way
Yeah.
and Two Kids way.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's so sad, these young guys.
Yeah. Moncla's wallet. According to Monkla's widow, she was told that just before Moncla left the ready room in the alert hangar after the scramble horn sounded, he took his wallet out of his flight suit and placed it on a table, which was unusual before he rushed out on his mission.
Yeah.
In an article, UFO researcher Gord Heath pointed out the similarities between that scene and one from the 1943 movie Destination Tokyo, which tells the fictional story of a submarine crew infiltrating Tokyo Bay to gather intelligence for the Doolittle raid. In this scene, the crews are instructed during their briefing to leave all their papers and identification behind, as there was a chance they might be captured by the enemy.
Oh.
Heath suggests that Moncla might have made a similar choice because he had a hunch he wouldn't be coming back.
Oh, weird.
Because the Canadians were gonna?
Well, I mean, at the time, I don't know. Were we on the outs with Russia? Have we ever been on the ins with Russia? I feel like.
Yeah, that's really more the question, isn't it? I mean, you know, right now.
Debatable, yeah. Yeah. Because I'm thinking like that an easy way to get to the United States, actually from several points in the Northern Hemisphere, is flying over Canada.
Right.
Which is why we have so many bases and such up that way. And why we really, really want to be good friends with Canada.
It's true.
Also Greenland. We have a base there as well. For the same reason.
Greenland.
So yeah, perhaps something was going on with I don't know, the Russians or someone. But that's interesting. That's an interesting little thing to note, I guess. That
yeah, and also
wallet.
Where is the wallet then?
Yeah. Was it not returned to his wife?
This is what we have so far on the wallet.
Okay, interesting.
I guess we'll see in a little bit. Cover up. On August 11th, 1963, the Muskegon Chronicle ran a piece on a 20-year-old UFO enthusiast named Sabert Atkinson, who was diving into the Kinross disappearance. In the article, Atkinson talks about his hometown barber who claimed to be the crew chief for the missing F-89. The barber revealed he was deer hunting that night and hadn't been questioned by the Air Force about the plane's maintenance. The barber speculated that the Air Force didn't suspect mechanical failure and suggested that many pilots believed the two men had been abducted by the UFO. Many pilots.
Love that.
When Atkinson informed Donald Kehoe about this conversation, Kehoe asked if the barber would sign a statement, but the barber declined, not wanting to get involved with the government.
That's fair.
I can't say he's wrong.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
As a result, Kehoe and Nightcap decided against pursuing the lead further.
That's a shame.
That's
I honestly don't know what else, what further info they could have gotten out of it. Unless it was like,
I don't know.
Oh yeah, man, I worked on that plane and that was a piece of junk. No wonder it went down. But
like, man, that thing was shit.
Would they let it fly if that was the case?
Unsurprising.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he would have had more info from the other pilots talking about
about
him being abducted, if that was true.
Clearly, these pilots had faith in the plane. If their decision was, okay, well, it wasn't mechanical failure, the plane was just fine, must have been abducted by aliens.
I guess our other option is aliens.
Yeah.
Possible wreckage found. On October 30th, 1968, the Sioux Star reported that prospectors found aircraft parts near Alona Bay, Lake Superior. The Ontario Provincial Police investigated, removing a tail section believed to be from a military jet due to its heavier metal composition. The parts were speculated to be from the missing F-89 from 1953, but Transport Canada had no records of a crash.
Oh.
And, quote, access to information, end quote, request to the Department of National Defense also yielded no results, raising questions about the lack of official documentation.
So they're just like, here's the tail of the plane. Yeah.
We don't know anything about it. Cool. You just didn't write anything. You have to write everything down.
But this is further showing, I guess, that Canada was like, yeah, we got nothing.
Right. Yeah. Basically saying
us.
We documented nothing.
It wasn't us.
You know how militaries work. We have to document everything. Like,
yeah. I would think especially along the border. You
really
want to document that. I would too.
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with with literally international two countries dealing with, like, in the same space.
Sure.
Don't you want to have, I don't know, records?
Right. So you know who to blame
of everything.
So yeah, again, Canada going, oh. We saw nothing.
Right? Canada's like, no, seriously, nothing crashed.
Yeah.
No,
like,
seriously.
Obviously something went down because they did find this wreckage, but...
Right. And then now what is that? Now I want to know what that is.
Where did this come from? Yeah.
Where did this wreck come from? Great Lakes Company hoax. In September 2006, an email to Nightcap claimed that the Great Lakes Dive Company found the wreckage of an F-89 in Lake Superior. Their story quickly spread online, featuring sonar scans that looked dubious at best. Investigations revealed the company didn't exist, and the supposed discoveries were likely fabricated. The website vanished, and the contact person stopped responding.
The early days of the internet. People learning what they can
like,
get away with.
That is so 2006.
Yeah.
Was that website have with a black background and neon green text too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can see it now. It's got a MIDI background. Do we still do that back then? I don't remember.
You can. I believe Tumblr, if you pay them money, they'll let you put music on your blog.
Awesome.
Ghost plane. A few months ago, someone on Reddit posted about a mysterious plane seen above Lake Superior that matches the C-47 involved in the incident. Quote, driving north on Highway 61, about an hour north of Duluth, Minnesota, on Lake Superior today, I saw this plane hovering about 300 feet above ground, just offshore over the water next to a lake house. Coming around a bend in the road, I noticed the plane, thinking it was abnormally low, and as I continued past it, I realized it was completely still in the air, hovering completely motionless despite a strong wind. The props were not even moving. My coworker was in the car with me and saw it as well and is just as rattled as I am. When we first saw it, I said, "Look at that old plane." And as we watched it, basically frozen in space, we both started freaking out. We kept driving. I'm kicking myself for not turning back and getting video of it, basically in shock. Before looking anything up, we commented on the dark green color, the still propellers, and the fact that it looked like something from World War II. I know very little about planes, but it's a pretty recognizable style.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed. My coworker began to research potential UFO activity on Lake Superior. Incredible coworker.
Absolutely.
Is that coworker me? Why would we jump to this conclusion?
You would have gotten video.
Oh, you're correct. Yes, absolutely. But just awesome. The coworker was like, "Was that a UFO though?" Instead of like any of the other explanations it could have been. My coworker began to research potential UFO activity on Lake Superior and found links to the Kinross incident, which neither of us had ever heard about before. She Googled the planes in the article, and we were shocked to see the dark green RCAF C-47 Dakota. It was absolutely that plane that we saw. As we did more research, with the help of a friend on the phone, we learned that the American plane that went missing, the Scorpion, was out to intercept a UFO. The F-89 reported the craft to appear to be an RCAF C-47. The radar showed that the two craft merged before they lost contact with the F-89. Other planes were sent out to search and saw nothing, and the pilots and plane were never found. Did anyone else in the area see this plane?
So it's like bait?
It could be bait.
That was my first thought. Like, so they just like put out a prop plane or a hologram or what have you of a prop plane
Yeah.
to see who bites.
Maybe it's bait.
I like that theory.
We put out bugs looking lures for fish.
Yeah.
They put out plane looking lures for us,
jets,
I guess. For other planes.
Yeah. Now I want to write that story. No, I have too many stories to write.
Just, you do what I do, and you put that little premise in a document, and then you put it away. And then if you have time,
I will never have time for this.
Correct.
Maybe Greg can make a play out of it or something.
Honestly, that'd be bitchin'.
Yeah, I mean the current one he's working on about the raccoon and the squirrels and I think someone might be a possum. I don't remember. Yeah,
and now plane bait.
Absolutely,
UFOs.
Do it. I'll tell him when he gets home.
Do it, Greg. Gord Heath, reincarnation, and the Oedipus complex. I'm very excited.
Woo! Getting into it.
It's one a hell of a subtitle. In the 2006 documentary The Moncla Memories, Gord Heath made a shocking claim. He believes he is the reincarnation of Felix Moncla. Not only that, he asserts that he is his own biological father and remembers what happened the night of the incident.
What?
I don't know, man. I'm reading this along with you. Heath explains that this incredible conclusion stemmed from a series of strange childhood memories and feeling a strong, unexplained connection to Lake Superior. He recalls a family trip to Grand
Marais. Yeah, I believe it's Grand Marais.
Okay, good.
That's what I've always heard.
I didn't. Okay, you never know.
If I'm wrong, someone comment. But this is what I've always heard.
Yeah, it's Grand Marais. Come on, where he climbed a hill with a mysterious man.
Oh,
red flag.
What?
Who told him about a plane that once flew inside of a spaceship, and that he, Gord, was the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Later, looking at his dad's silver jar in which he kept model planes, he stumbled upon insignias belonging to both Moncla and Wilson. Then, during a hospital visit after his dad's bypass surgery, he remembers his dad, who was heavily medicated, trying to explain through charades that he wasn't really his father. He handed Gord a note with the name Felix Eugene Moncla written on it, but his dad has no recollection of this incident or the insignias.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I, yeah, this is like a who do you choose to believe in this situation? I mean, people can
Yeah.
easily invent their own
Um,
memories very easily.
oh,
We
yeah.
all
No.
forget shit.
It's about to be a little clearer
Yeah.
who to believe. As these memories from a past life began to resurface, Gord uncovered the truth through regressive
Oh, jeez.
hypnosis. There's literally a little lol next to it because if you don't know, dear listener, regressive hypnosis is bullshit.
Yeah, it really is. It was so big in like the 80s, 90s. This maybe 70s
Yeah.
too. Some books I read were from the 70s. But
Yeah.
yeah, the brain just makes shit up.
Yeah. We are so susceptible to suggestion as humans that you will, under regressive hypnosis, you can literally create new
Yeah.
memories. And you believe these are
Hmm.
true. These are
Yep.
memories, not daydreams, not
It's
fiction to
almost
you.
like it's almost like lucid dreaming, except you think you're awake. Like, because lucid dreaming is very, it feels very real generally. So it's
Yeah,
almost like
it's wild.
creating a lucid
Yeah,
dream from scratch. And if someone is guiding
yeah,
you, you're gonna see what they tell you. Even if they don't think that they're guiding you, they're guiding you.
they're guiding you. Yeah.
Even saying like,
Yep.
oh, what do you see? Well, your brain is gonna come up with some answer to that.
Oh, I have to see something. Let's
Yeah,
aliens.
it's kind of like how our brains dream. It's very cool,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
also completely fake. It's like your brain is like a child. Like children will make stuff up
Yes.
and swear to you it's the absolute truth when you know for a fact it's not.
So Heath remembers that he and Wilson were on the verge of intercepting an unidentified craft. Moncla slash Heath had a feeling that what they were about to encounter wasn't from this world. Then they came face to face with a massive spaceship. In a panic, Moncla grabbed his control stick, but it was stuck. Control stick. He yelled to Wilson, "My stick's jammed, try yours!" But it was no use. I'm having such a hard time keeping a straight face right now. So he fired at the craft, and an explosion followed. The next thing he remembers is waking up on a table surrounded by alien beings with a strong feeling that the Air Force was in on it all. The aliens informed him that two of their own were killed in the blast and that there would be consequences. They gave him a choice: remain with them or return to Earth in a new body. Moncla chose reincarnation while Wilson decided to
That's
stay.
so bizarre.
He was then taken to a room where he was introduced to his future parents and was told he'd have to father his
Oh,
next incarnation. They extracted his sperm and used it to inseminate his mother artificially. At least they did that part. And again, his dad has no memory of this either. Heath claims he then handed both his and Wilson's insignias to his future parents, and finally, they submerged him in a barrel filled with some kind of liquid, which he believes either killed him or put him to sleep until he awoke as baby Gord Heath. Like the
You know
Matrix.
what? If you if you are choosing to be reincarnated as a specific thing, I feel like, or like you're forcing a reincarnation, let's say, it almost makes sense to me
Yeah.
that yeah, you would use like a piece of your old self, like sperm. Egg would be difficult. Egg would be difficult, but you
Right.
could do it. They're aliens. They got science. I don't know.
They're aliens. They got alien
Yeah, but
science.
like
They can
as
do
weird
whatever
as
they
that was,
want.
I'm like, no wait, actually that kind of makes sense.
Yes. If we're following the logic of all of this, that
Yeah,
makes complete sense. If we're accepting the rest as having
right.
happened, sense it
Like
makes.
if I read this in a sci-fi book, I would be like, yeah, okay, okay. It's a way of because reincarnation is a very
Yeah.
spiritual thing, and it's a way of bringing that
Yes.
into kind of a physical scientific sense.
Right. Of course, you would need your essence, your soul, or whatever, but you might also need a
Yeah, to
physical
kind of
piece of you
like tie
to
that soul
continue.
to that
Yeah.
specific body.
Yeah. So at least within his own regressive delusion,
Yeah, there's
He
a
is
kind of
logically
there's a
sound.
kind of sense to it. But yeah, that's something I
Yeah.
could see appearing in like a sci-fi novel.
Oh yeah,
That's
for
interesting.
sure.
I've never encountered
Yeah.
that before, but that's interesting.
Since then, Gord Heath has delved deeply into the case and even established a tenuous
Wow.
relationship with Monkla's daughter. While she doesn't believe he is her father reincarnated, she finds their phone conversations intriguing, despite her relatives urging her to distance herself from him. In his quest for answers, Heath also took a DNA test with one of Monkla's residents, Monkla's male relatives, to see if he truly is Felix Moncla. To the surprise of absolutely no one, the results came
Uh-huh.
back negative. Yet this setback hasn't stopped him. He remains convinced that he has some kind of connection to Moncla. Honey, no one is arguing that you have some kind of connection to Moncla. We're arguing that you are not him reincarnated.
And like, even if he was, again, that's a spiritual thing. So it definitely didn't happen in the way that he believes it did.
Right.
Clearly.
you don't, if that were true, I think, like, if that were a
Mhm.
thing that could happen via reincarnation, well, I guess it's different because it's
Right.
aliens. I was thinking if it was like reincarnation was just the
Sure.
norm here on Earth, which according to the CIA, it
Sure.
might be.
According to a lot of religions, major religions, it is.
The CIA, I guess, did some experiments back in the day that you can read about now, and their conclusion on reincarnation was probably. But shoot, now what was I saying? I got off on a tangent. Oh, we would have DNA. We would have people today matching DNA wise with people that have passed since
Right.
DNA
Yeah.
testing was a thing. But it was aliens, so it
Yeah.
could have been whatever the
Ancestry.com would
fuck.
be a lot
I don't
more
know.
interesting. Oh, man, now
It would be
that
a
gives me
lot
an idea
wilder.
for a story. So, like, instead of it's like Ancestry.com, but it's like reincarnation.com. So, like, you can reconnect with your relatives from your previous life by taking some kind of DNA test,
Oh, that would be cool. Oh my god.
or like to make sure you're not related to a
That would be so
spouse.
cool.
Be like, oh God, I was your father in a previous life. We can't get married now.
No, God, no. Nope. Nope. Don't want to have those memories at certain times of
Yeah.
our
Oh my
relationship.
God, that'd be so funny. That would be a comedy.
And for our final section tonight, Tenny to the rescue.
Hey, Tenny, what's up?
Legendary Michigan paranormal researcher and lecturer John E. L. Tenney is the reason we have the USAF documents. Back in 1992, he spent 5 years relentlessly writing to the Department of Defense and every government branch he could think of, using the Freedom of Information Act to get his hands on 50 pages of documents.
FOIA is awesome. Use it.
Right?
Anybody can do it. It's fun time.
Anybody can do it. You can FOIA
Yep.
request whatever the fuck you want. It's great. When the packet arrived, he noticed some page numbers were missing, so he followed up and asked for them. A DoD contractor accidentally let it slip that the full document was actually over 500
Oh,
pages.
damn. Yeah, especially if it's printed out. Like don't picture like a hardcover
Yeah.
book. Picture like something twice that size.
Yes. Yeah. Like if you made a book out of just 8.5 by 11s. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
huge. That's insane. That's a giant book. There's a reason we don't do that. Tenney then used a loophole to get the Department of Energy to send him everything they had on the case. After going through all the documents, Tenney realized the USAF had seriously botched their investigation.
I am
to the
not
surprise of
surprised
no
at
one.
all, especially back then.
Yeah. The 2 men involved were never officially listed as dead or missing in action, just unknown, which meant the government didn't have to pay any death benefits.
What did I
to their
say in
families.
part 1? These poor women. These poor women. And children. Like,
cool, great. Let's write a book about them.
Oh my God.
They deserve their own story.
Oh
and
yeah.
royalties.
Oh my God, yes. Jesus.
Oh, however, once Tenny exposed this, the families finally got their back pay, and all the
Oh
information was
man.
released to them.
God, what a thing to literally go through. This is what, like, probably your
Yeah,
father, grandfather, fathers, like, that's, wow. Like, what a thing to go back and
yeah.
have to dig through when, like, you weren't a part of it. You probably don't remember it. But their spouses could also have been around. I'm not saying this was like crazy long time ago, but it was like, what, 80 years. So
Yeah, and actually, like, it's 2025.
yeah,
That was a really long time ago.
yeah. What a thing to dig through. I mean, like, what a man. That must have been an incredible experience. Good and bad.
Right. Oh
But
my
yay for
gosh.
back pay. Screw you, government. Screw you,
Oh,
government.
thank God. Yeah, and that's probably a shit ton of
Yeah.
back pay, too. Hooray, Tenny!
He's such a fun guy.
Oh, he's incredible. Oh, I'm so glad that he was able
Yeah.
to do that for those families. Because
He
what
will
the
make
fuck,
himself a pain in
government?
someone's ass. He's got time.
Correct, yeah. And, like, persistence and,
And he's
like,
got a good heart.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just a
like-
lovely person. This is now a We Love John Tenney
I,
podcast.
this is, I mean, well, it's becoming increasingly common, I guess, but this is someone I actually know and have met and talked to on a number of occasions. So, actually, I would have
Yeah.
met him for the first time in
Yep.
2019. Yeah, we met at
Yeah.
the Firehouse Museum's Paranormal Convention.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, I've actually known him kind of a long time, and seen him speak a few times, and met him at one or two conventions and chatted, and we followed each other on
Oh, yeah.
Twitter. Yeah, I'll dead name that shit.
So I want you to come on our podcast, Tenny.
You might have to, like, track him down at his bar.
I will.
Like, we kind of know where he lives, and that I know the city he lives in.
In that, yeah, he's pretty open about
Yeah,
where he hangs out.
And he's pretty chill if you're just like, hey man, let's talk about weird shit. And he's like, all right.
Anyway, so we don't actually have a real
Nope.
answer, by the way.
That's why it's still a mystery, and it's a weird one. It's a weird one.
It's a weird one. I got nothing. I'm gonna say aliens, but not Gordon
not that
Eats
kind of
aliens.
I mean, you could. It's really wide open. You could say, like, oh, people from the future came back and got them. Someone from another dimension came over and got them, or they crossed over. I mean, just
Yeah, I'm in the camp of ultra terrestrials. That's fine. We can say that.
so many mysterious things happen on the Great Lakes, right? And now they happen in the air.
Oh yeah, like this is definitely not the first or last weird thing we're gonna talk about. The Great
But
Lakes.
this has always been a fun
So,
one for me, just because it involves planes. Like, this is modern technology. I'm far more interested in ships, but this is an interesting one because there's something about history where it almost seems fictional, but this involves such modern technology.
Oh,
Yes,
for sure.
it's like 80 years ago now, but it still feels very close. Like, it doesn't feel like a fairy story. It feels like, oh, that happened.
Right. It's not like, it's like talking about a ship on the Great Lakes in the 1700s just feels like watching
it just
like a pirate
it doesn't
movie.
feel as real as something now.
Yeah, but you said it in the 50s and suddenly it's like, oh, my parents were alive. Like,
yeah,
that's wild.
And people talk about things happening in the 80s, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, we just started watching the latest season or whatever of Stranger Things, and it takes place in 1986, and I'm like, I remember 1986. That was like literally the first year I can probably remember, but
yeah, oh yeah, about the right age for those long-term memories to start.
That would have been the year of the ghost at my house. It would have been 86.
Oh,
Christmas of 86.
Maybe it was just me before I was born.
Waiting. Yeah, I'm gonna know you in my future life. Let's hang out.
What's up? I'm gonna know you once the aliens reincarnate me into something.
That's what you do when you're waiting around to be reincarnated. You're just like visiting your future friends.
Yeah, that sounds. How come
Yeah.
that sucks that I can't remember it? Oh well. That was season 6.
weird.
Everybody,
Weird stuff. Weird stuff.
we did it.
And we have a good number of
We
sources
did
on
it.
this one too that we can share.
Yeah, Gord Heath's website, the Open Skies Project, Wikipedia, because it's great. Screw you people that don't like it. Thinkaboutit.docs.com, which sounds awesome. I'm gonna go check out
Makes
that.
me think of the meme. Think about it.
All the U.S. Air Force
Sweet.
documents that I now have,
Which you can go through. I will never be able to go through them.
The Moncla Memories, Heath's quote unquote documentary is on
The
YouTube.
Moncla Memories, UFOs and Reincarnation HD feature. Hey, look at that.
Yeah. That's a whole afternoon for you. Expanding Frontiers Research by Tenny, and Reddit.com, which gets a bad rap, but I'm going to tell you, it's a really great resource. If you need info,
honestly, when I was
not
doing
a lot of other people have.
more food articles and things, we used Reddit as a source.
Yeah.
Because it's up to the minute kind of thing. Great for quotes, great for opinions, and people know their stuff. Reddit is huge. It's like Wikipedia too. Wikipedia is huge. Yeah, there are some really horrible parts to it.
Yes.
But you can't say like, oh, it's all bad because this one dude said this horrible thing. Like, that's just silly. It's just silly. The internet doesn't work like that anymore.
Thank God.
Like there are definitely good parts of Reddit that are informative, very interesting, and helpful.
Do we want to talk about our upcoming summer projects?
I think we can at least tease it. We've already teased it. I feel like maybe we.
Hey, we have upcoming summer projects. You won't be without our voices for an entire blah 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 months. Like you're gonna have some paranormal stuff and some not paranormal stuff.
In addition to, of course, our usual doing events and things like that over the summer, which is so great. We didn't plan it this way, I don't think, but it's so great that the season runs like fall and winter, because then we do all of our live shows in the spring and summer. And because if we had to do both of those at the same time, I don't know that I could.
I will say that October is a really, really fun month. It's a really intense month.
And it was even before Haunted Mitten existed for me. Because 1, my birthday. 2, Halloween. And then once, of course, Greg started getting involved with Neighborhood Theater Group and doing the annual Halloween shows, which we've just expanded to 2 weekends, and that seems to be what it's going to be going forward, because the last 2 years we've done it, it's been great. So, yeah, and now you add Haunted Mitten on top of that, like, oh my god.
Walking tours, live shows.
Which we were invited to do the walking tours again.
Convention. There will be a walking tour in downtown Ann Arbor this July 19th, I believe. In the evening, you can check out Ann Arbor's Rec and Ed website.
Keep an eye out
for further details and tickets. You can listen to me talk about ghosts and make some really terrible jokes that, I'll be honest, I'm not changing.
Yeah, that was, I mean, both of those tours were sold out.
And it won't be during a freaking football game.
Yeah. And summer's a great time for ghost stories. Like in parts of Asia, that's their spooky month. And it's a great way to, like, as they say, like, cool off. Like, you give yourself chills with ghost stories, and that's how you stay cool at night. Like, love it. Love that. Spooky season all year.
Yeah, and it'll be nice weather. We won't have to be bundled.
Right.
And
it'll be less busy because we're not going to have the college students really around. So, yeah.
And yes, we won't have to fight for sidewalk space with college students, because I hate that.
So
come see us in July, but we will probably also be doing a limited run in October as well.
Can't give that up. I mean, it's spooky season, right? Gotta do it.
Spooky
but
season.
if your October is also as busy as ours, come check us out in July.
Go in July. And then we have lots of live stuff coming up that we don't all have scheduled yet. So we'll tell you more about that once they actually have dates.
We'll be at the IPSC library reopening when we have another date for that. Poor library.
Yeah. And Chicago Steam.
Yeah, Chicago Steam. I was thinking about that today, putting together some special stuff for that.
Find us on the socials. You know where to go by now. It's been 6 seasons. If you don't, I go listen to a different podcast because where have you been? We have a book, Ipsy Ghosts and Legends. It's great.
Yeah.
You should go get it.
I'm still hearing positive feedback from people. I love this so much.
Every once in a while, I will shelve it for a patron whose name I do not know.
Woo! Love that.
And our Patreon for between $1 and $3 a month. You get to see our faces. You get to hear me tell my husband about true crime stories that he is kind enough to listen to and comment on. You get our live shows. And you get to get a little insight into the behind the scenes of Haunted Mitten when we go on like mini vacations to Gettysburg and stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the things Greg and I do is just take little vacations around the state, and we always look for haunted locations, and we always take pictures, and then I do a little write-up about it.
It's cool. It's great. It's fun. And thank you for joining us for another season of Haunted Mitten. We would not be here without you. We would be here without you talking to you, but it would be a lot lonelier.
Yeah,
so thank you
maybe a little
for
weird.
listening and giving us somebody to blab at about.
Absolutely.
Ghosts. We appreciate
I
it.
do. Because I love doing this stuff.
Oh yeah, and we will continue to do this stuff. So look out for us during the summer. We will be posting, you will know. Not just on socials, but like through our main feed, you will know when things start. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, happy haunting.
We're back here to talk to you about Lynn B Designs. Not only do they have the best nail polish to rival even those most expensive nail polishes you see on Instagram, but they have stickers, wax melts, shirts, everything cute and adorable and definitely ready for this fall season. So be sure to check out this vegan, cruelty-free brand. You will love them as much as we do. Check out Lynn B Designs monthly sales. They are fantastic. I am going to go look at some right now. Thanks.